It's important to remember that this is religion by permission. The Jews of Russia have been given permission now to practice their religion. And they do that to the extent that they're allowed to. That permission could continue, that permission could be rescinded tomorrow.
Since Glasnost has opened the society, the Central Communist Party has chosen a rabbi that's allowed to operate the synagogue. And if you would see for the first time in years, and this is all brand new within this last 12 months, if you would see up in the balconies of this old synagogue, much like the old shuls that we all knew, everywhere little classes of teachers teaching young kids Hebrew, older people Hebrew, bar mitzvah lessons, just little huddles of groups of people, young kids in these faces learning Hebrew. It was incredible. The religious freedom is open today, but it's at the will of the government. And if Gorbachev does not stay in power or has difficulty, he could change it at a moment's notice. That's why it's so important to accomplish the goal that we're trying to accomplish, and that's to get as many Soviet Jews out as want to come out.
The numbers that were talked about and discussed were up to 1 million Jews that want to leave the Soviet Union. To bring 200,000 Jews out of the Soviet Union over the next 2 years will cost $3.6 billion. Of that, World Jewry is attempting to raise just a small portion of that, and the bulk of those costs will be absorbed by the government of Israel. It's very difficult to get out. Still, you can't get out of that country unless the Russians will allow you to go out. There is this window of opportunity.
And that's why they're willing to move quickly. These people don't have a chance to plan. They first have to get an invitation to leave. Without an invitation from a foreign government to leave, they've got nothing. When they get the invitation, which is a whole process by itself, they have to go about selling their home, selling all their possessions, because they leave with very little more than what's on their back. They're leaving because of economic freedom and a future for their children and jobs.
They're willing to start a new life in order to have what we take for granted. Religious freedom, freedom of choice, freedom to be yourself and choose what you want to do. We take that for granted. They don't have it, and they're willing to give up everything. There's two emotions which show. One of happiness, and joy to get out and be able to reach the land of Israel, and the other one is one of being very frightened, but hopeful. Living in Russia seems very oppressive, Jew or non-Jew. People are downtrodden. There are no smiles. Nobody says hello. This comes from years and years of being watched and controlled.
When you arrive in Israel after leaving Russia, it's night and day. Israel is a beautiful country. There's flowers, there's kids with smiles. You walk down the street in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv and people say hi, they say shalom. They've got a happy look on their face, and they've got plenty of problems, but they've got a happy look on their face. In the Soviet Union, nobody smiles. In Israel, it's a whole different world. People are happy. They've got plenty of problems, but they're the problems of life. They're not the problems of survival.
The one thing that all Jews in Israel agree upon, and probably the only thing, is that the Russian resettlement is a mitzvah. It is singularly the most important issue that we in our lifetime have been able to deal with.
When they come to Israel, this group that's coming to Israel, that's making Aliyah, is the first group that is totally educated and want to work. They want to work. They're bright people. They're industrious people. And they're not afraid of the challenge.
For Israel, this is very important because it gives them the opportunity to strengthen the nation. It gives them the opportunity to have well-educated, motivated individuals who will spread throughout the country and help strengthen the country on all levels.
The Olim that are coming from the Soviet Union breathes life in Israel in every facet of the economy, in every part of the country. If I could say anything to the Jews in Omaha, Nebraska, I wish they could see through Jay and my eyes what the Soviet Jews look like at the moment that you're down at the Ben Gurion Airport at 4 or 5 in the morning, and you first see the Star of David on the back of an El Al 747, which by itself is emotional. And then we've got 130 people that are with our group standing there with flowers in hand that they'd given us, and they've got music playing, Shalom Aleichem, and you see these Soviet Jews come off the airplane, and you look in their eyes, and there is not a person there that didn't have their heart right up in their throat. We're crying and they're crying, and the fright that these people must feel coming to a complete new country, not knowing any of the language, not knowing where they're living, not knowing where they're going. Imagine any of us having to go through this. The only thing that we've got going that they don't is our grandparents came in the late 1800s. And had they not come to America when they did, it could be any of us coming off those planes today, starting absolutely over again from scratch, but with the luck that the Israeli people and the government wanted.
The United States Jewery and the Jewery of Omaha has a unique opportunity to help resettle Soviets, to help bring people freedom. And we have the easy job. We need to raise the money. Their job is tough. They have to start their lives over. And we can help them. We can see that anger. We can see the fright leave their face. And we can see the smiles open up. And we can see those people live a life of freedom, live a life and do the things that they want to do, not what they're told to do. And to have that unique opportunity, there's a window of opportunity now. I don't want to look in the mirror one morning and look back and say, I could have, or I should have, or I had the opportunity and I didn't. It's now. And we need to make the utmost effort to the fullest extent of our ability and then some, and we will look back as this being the biggest mitzvah that we can do for Israel and for Jews throughout the world. When in our lifetimes have we had the opportunity to rescue humanity, to rescue people, to bring them out to freedom? We have the opportunity now.
It's our responsibility as American Jews today to do everything possible to help these Soviet Jews get out and get resettled. It's our responsibility to keep our eyes on the ball, to put all egos and side issues aside and focus on the singular job of helping these cousins of ours that we may or may not know get out while the door is open, because you don't know what's going to happen in the Soviet Union. It could change tomorrow, and let's none of us look at our children or our children's children when we're grandparents and say we could have helped but we didn't. We're full partners in the deal, and let's none of us forget that we've got the easiest end of the partnership, and that's raising the money.